Welcome to your daily 5-minute crypto brief with Satoshi and Nova. Today is July 24th, 2025. I am Nova.
I am Satoshi. We're here to give you a quick, sharp look at the last 24 hours in the crypto world. We'll hit the market moves, any policy shifts, new tech stuff. Today feels like, well, a bit of caution in the air, some regulatory surprises, but also traditional finance stepping up its tech game.
Yeah, it's quite a mix, isn't it? You really see these different forces pulling on the market, some tension, but also, like you said, some really interesting steps forward.
Okay, let's jump into the market then. We saw a bit of a pullback, generally speaking. Bitcoin, though, it mostly held its ground, trading, around $117,000 to $120,000, basically flat, minus 0.02% or so. Pretty
stable for Bitcoin, yeah. But that wasn't really the story everywhere else. If you look at altcoins, meme tokens, they felt it more. Ethereum slid about 2.5%.
And Solana and XRP saw bigger drops, right? Something like 5 to 9%.
Exactly. And those really speculative meme coins, even worse.
Yeah.
Down, 8 to 11% in some cases.
Yeah, definitely a shift in mood. Less appetite for risk, it seems.
Absolutely. And a couple of things probably driving that caution. First, there was this huge Bitcoin whale waking up, moved over 10,600 BTC.
Wow, what's the dollar value on that?
About $1.26 billion. And this wallet hadn't touched those coins in years. So when something like that moves, it sparks speculation, It's a big sell-off coming from someone considered smart money.
Makes sense. What else?
Well, just general profit-taking, probably. Some altcoins had good runs recently, and maybe more significantly, we saw crypto investment funds actually record net outflows. That suggests institutional demand might be waning a bit.
Possibly spooked by regulatory uncertainty.
That's the likely connection, yeah. Which actually leads us right into a big piece of news on that front, this regulatory surprise involving the SEC. They suddenly stopped Bitwise's plan to convert its 10 crypto index fund into an ETF.
Yeah, I saw that. And the weird part was, didn't SEC staff initially seem okay with it? Like they'd given some sort of preliminary nod?
That's what makes it such a U-turn. Reports indicated staff were on board, then suddenly, halt. Indefinite pause. Analysts are trying to read the tea leaves, obviously. The suspicion is the SEC isn't quite ready. They want clearer, industry-wide standards in place first.
So they're hitting pause until they figure out the exact rules for all crypto ETFs.
Seems like it. One Bloomberg analyst even suggested that delays might last until the agency spells out specific listing rules. It just injects a whole lot of uncertainty back into the market. Kind of a reminder of the SEC's, let's say, unpredictable nature right now.
Okay, so regulatory headwinds there. But it wasn't all negative, right? You mentioned TradFi making moves.
Definitely. Some really positive news came from Goldman Sachs and BNY Mellon. They've partnered up to tokenize money market fund shares.
Tokenize money market shares. How does that work?
They're using Goldman's private blockchain. The idea is to make transactions faster, more transparent. It's described as a first-of-its-kind thing.
Interesting. So using blockchain within the traditional finance structure.
Exactly. It's building a sort of trusted bridge, offering a regulated way to get yield using blockchain tech, kind of like an alternative to stablecoins, but operating fully within existing financial regulations. This could be really appealing to big institutions.
And there was another interesting development, this time on the legal side, with NFTs.
Yes, a landmark decision, really. A U.S. appeals court ruled that NFTs can be considered goods under trademark law.
Okay, what does that mean practically?
Well, the case specifically mentioned Yuga Labs Bored Ape Yacht Club. It means that the creators and owners of these NFT projects have stronger legal ground to protect their brands, their intellectual property against copycats and infringement. It sets a really important precedent for digital art and collectibles.
Gives creators more solid footing. Good to hear. And finally, a bit of macro news. Something about a U.S.-Japan trade deal.
Yeah, a spot of potential relief on the global stage. The U.S. and Japan apparently reached a deal to unify tariffs, cap them at 15%. It basically avoids an escalating trade spat, which is generally seen as a positive for global markets. And that kind of positive macro backdrop can offer some support for risk assets, including crypto.
Okay, so pulling it all together, what does this mix mean for you, the listener, right now?
Well, near term, you've definitely got risks to watch. That regulatory uncertainty, like the SEC's ETF pause, is a big one. And keep an eye on those large whale movements, like that $1.26 billion BTC transfer. It's just a reminder that big players can shift sentiment quickly.
So vigilance is key. And maybe extra caution for retail investors, especially with the more volatile stuff like meme coins.
Absolutely. Those assets swing wildly based on sentiment. Managing your risk, your position sizes is really crucial there.
But looking longer term, there are some positive signals under the surface, right? Like the Goldman and BNY Mellon news.
For sure. Seeing major established financial institutions like that actively building on blockchain, tokenizing real-world assets, that's a really constructive sign for the long haul. It builds credibility, strengthens the market's foundations for mainstream adoption.
So it's this balancing act. We've got these regulatory question marks and whale watching creating headwinds, but also institutional players building bridges and maybe some macro support helping out.
Yeah, that sums it up well. What's really fascinating, I think, is watching that ongoing tension. You've got the regulators being cautious, maybe even stalling a bit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this undeniable pull, this drive from big institutions to integrate this technology, it's playing out right in front of us.
It really is. And it leaves you wondering, as these forces kind of collide and reshape things, what kind of financial system are we actually building here? And, what role will digital assets truly play in it all down the line? Definitely something to think about as you watch this space evolve.
Enjoyed the brief? Please like and subscribe. We deliver fresh market updates, macro signals, and crypto news daily in just 5 minutes. Live streams coming soon. Stay tuned.